Howdy folks, it's Pig here. Today we are going to be briefly discussing the Echo VR announcement that came out yesterday on January 31st, but also we're going to be diving into exactly why this makes sense for a company like Meta and how this was expected. It was just about 2 short months ago that we unleashed this video right here talking about how Meta is slowly but surely splitting the VR player base. Well, in that video we discussed about how one day it would all be okay because the dawn will come. Unfortunately for everybody at home, the dawn is not the dawn we were expecting. It was Ready at Dawn. Ready at Dawn has announced that indeed it is true. On August 1st of 2023 at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, they are closing Echo VR for good. How in the hell could this be happening? When Echo VR is the #1 game out there for most VR players, it's what most Quest 2 headsets were sold advertising, and it's what most VR communities are pouring their resources into. Well, it's quite simple. Meta is a company, and companies do what is profitable. Now, when Meta purchased Oculus a couple years back, we said to the community, golly bum, this very well may be a disaster, because now you've got a big corporation deciding the future of VR, and it's not always going to line up with what the players want. What Meta has decided in this exact case is that Echo VR is a free game, it doesn't make them much money, it costs them a lot of money to run the servers, and they've got a load of people coming in on them. So they've decided to take their very talented development team and put them to use on something else. Now Ready at Dawn is working on their next project. We don't know yet what it is, but I'm betting you it's gotta be big if they're canning Echo VR. Now, if you're like me and you think, I'm not gonna believe everything I hear on the internet, this is a huge game, there's no way they're shutting it down. Well, unfortunately on January 31st of 2023, officially, support for the game has ended. Now, like I said earlier, the game will still be open until August 31st, but after that, you won't be able to see the game on the marketplace, you won't be able to connect, you won't be able to play what you love. Now, just because support's dropping for the game doesn't mean that there won't be developers there to fix any critical issues that they have until August 1st, but you can pretty much count any future features that you were hoping to see out of the picture. They're not going to invest in that at this point. The most intriguing part of all is that they actually removed the game from the store yesterday on January 31st, which means that they are full-on committed to this. Not only will there not be any future features, but there also won't be any ability for people to purchase the game from now on. Arguably, one of the coolest things about this ending period that Echo VR is going through right now is that Ready at Dawn has already announced that they are giving away loads of their in-game purchasables for free. So if you're already in on Echo VR, absolutely jump in and take advantage of some of these free giveaways. I've got a number of them I'll list off right here in a moment, but before I do, I just wanted to also say that if you're one of the unlucky ducks who made an in-game purchase recently, unfortunately you won't be able to refund that. Ready at Dawn has made that clear. Now here's a list of all the freebies that Ready at Dawn is giving away for Echo VR since Echo's going away. All epic and superb rarity chassis, boosters, brace sets, all from Echo Seasons 1 through 6. Season 7 is coming, but it will come later. All chassis variants are being given away. All non-3D rewards from Echo Pass Season 1 through 6. All Echo Shop items. All previous event rewards. And lastly, some previously unreleased rewards that you're going to be able to get your hands on too. They're calling this the Give Back event because they want to give back to the players who have helped support Echo VR throughout the entire journey that it's been through. Remember, this is a game that came from nothing and then became an ESL champion game and was hosted by VRML no less. This is a game that has come from the ground and made it to the top of the penthouse. So they want to thank you. That's what this event's all about. Now, if you're like me and many others, you're probably kicking yourself in the tail feathers for having spent so much time trying to get better at this game for it to just go away. Well, there's good reasons for why it's going away. It's not just going away for nothing, and I want to take a second just to reiterate those for everybody. First off, this is a company decision. This is something that Meta has started to talk to Ready at Dawn about because they know as their owners, they can take this thing to a whole nother level. This thing in this case isn't the game, it would be the development team. Meta knows that their golden resources is development. They know that the real end of the line isn't a cool game that you enjoy for a couple years. It's the ability to create things that players will enjoy for extended periods of time. That's valuable. And Meta has a lot of great resources in that realm. Ready at Dawn is one of them, which is exactly why Meta has said, guys, you need to stop focusing on this free-to-play game and let's put you onto something new. Let's reinvigorate the community and let's come out with something that will make us some money. Unfortunately, that's the cold, hard truth of how business works, even in virtual reality. Now remember, Meta also gave an injection of like $2 billion not that long ago, but then had to make significant cutbacks in their teams. So it makes sense that they're channeling profits. This isn't the first time Meta has done something like this as well. Meta is no stranger to doing things like this. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, just a couple months ago, Meta had Onward completely overhauled. And I'm not just talking about a few changes to help make things more profitable. I'm talking about downgrading graphics and downgrading many players' experiences to put them on the level of Quest 2. Because why would you want your customer base to feel like they bought the short stick? Now, with all this being said, do I see this being the last cut that Meta makes in the VR industry? Certainly not. With the way the market looks right now, Meta could very well end support for any of their games. A few of the games that are made by companies Meta owns are Beat Saber, Population 1, Resident Evil 4. Support for any of these games could end at any time because Meta knows they need to do what's profitable. And if those games stop being profitable, out it goes. Ultimately, what all of this comes down to is that we got to enjoy a great game for an extended period of time. I think the majority of the community made excellent memories in that game, and we all had a blast while doing it. I think it's something we can look back on fondly, and it's not something that we're going to look back on with anger. Instead, we're going to move forward, we're going to enjoy bigger and better experiences as the future approaches, and we will always remember the love that we had for one of the #1 free-to-play games in history, Echo VR.